I was sitting in a coffee shop with one of my best friends, and we were having this amazing conversation. Have you ever been there? You were having an amazing conversation, good cup of coffee, great start to your day, and all of a sudden, he says something, and we begin to talk about something that I think has really shifted how I view relationships, specifically valuable, meaningful, full friendships. And we begin to wrestle with this concept and idea. And after we talked about it, after he said it, it began to unfold in the next moment and in the next moment. And I began to talk about it more. I began to see it show up more. And I began to have it actually be something that has adjusted how I view meaningful relationships, valuable friendships. And so it's something that I actually have to talk about now, because it's not about something that's tangible. It's not about something that I just can give or buy, or maybe even something that I possess tangibly, but it's something based on how I live and based on my presence, based on showing up, based on giving myself fully to that moment or to the conversation or to my friend, or being genuine, authentic, and real. And all of these things coming together and me understanding what generosity looks like. And that at its core, generosity is not necessarily about giving something away or giving something tangible away. It's about being generous with what is valuable to me. Maybe, just maybe, would you entertain the idea that generosity is the essence of friendship? How who you are is more valuable than what you currently have. And that if who you are can actually come into your everyday life, it will actually change everything. So when I'm sitting there and we begin to have a conversation about how generosity could be the essence of friendship, it slowly started to adjust how I think about friendship and how I value even myself. Because who I am is more valuable than what I have. And isn't that what people actually want when they're in a meaningful relationship? And yes, it's the day after Thanksgiving, so I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. But whether it was good, bad, weird, awkward, or however it flowed for you, I just want to encourage you that if we begin to put on and value ourselves as like the main thing to allow people to know and understand and have in their life, then we can also value them equally as we value us. And I am immensely thankful for the people, and I have so much gratitude for where I've come. But what if, yes, I gave people this amazing day yesterday, and we had a meal or a conversation, or yes, I'm thankful. I had a moment of thanksgiving. But what if today I allowed that Thanksgiving to come into, here where we are on Friday? In a day full of consumption. It's coined Black Friday, where we go by and, all these sales and all of this consuming. But what if we flipped the script and we thought about how maybe instead of buying more stuff alongside of it, it was less about, life was less exciting about those things, and it was more genuine and more full when I valued the thing that I truly can be generous with, which is myself. So let's take a step into generosity today in light of, can that, how could it be the essence of friendship? Gratitude without generosity really always falls short. So with a day full of gratitude, Thanksgiving is legitimately centered on it. And we gather and we reflect and we express thanks for the good things in our lives. But here's the thing. Gratitude, when it stays internal, it can feel hollow. It's like acknowledging a gift but never actually using it. Generosity is where gratitude comes to life. It's the bridge between feeling thankful and actually living thankful. Gratitude changes how I see the world, but generosity changes how I move through the world. Let me say that again. Gratitude changes how I see the world, but my generosity, it legitimately changes how I move through the world. And so we actually need both. Think about it. Who are the people you're most drawn to? Think about those people that live life open-handedly, those people that are fully grateful and immensely generous. What's amazing about those people is you feel safe around them, you feel valued around them, and you are inspired to keep taking steps as you move through life. Generosity is gratitude in motion, and without it, gratitude remains incomplete. And as we take this step, let's start having a more complete and full day every single day, moving from Thanksgiving, not just hoping we find, a day off because of Thanksgiving. I think as the day-to-days change, we'll start having movement because we see the world in gratitude and we move through it in generosity. So yesterday, we were thinking about and being grateful for all the things that we have. And what's ironic about that is now we've come to Friday and we are focused on what we do not have, because that's what this day is. And I think that's so ironic in how quickly we can shift from one way of thinking to another way of thinking. So what if we reimagine today? What if we began to think a little bit differently today? And I just want to ask the question is, what are you living for? What are you living for based off of maybe even where you're headed? And how are these things that we want actually going to help us get to where we want to go? It's not that we don't need to have more things. It's that we have more things. It's that, do I need this? Is this actually going to serve me, or am I going to serve it? The thing about generosity is it shifts something deep within us, because generosity isn't about wealth. Generosity is not about wealth. It's actually about abundance. It's saying, I have enough, and there's more than enough to share. And I believe that when we begin to shift that part of ourselves, what we end up being is we get to a place of where I say, and I know I've gotten this before, is if I am enough, then I need less. If I am enough, then I need less. And actually, I'm a really valuable thing as a human to help someone else who is human, whether it's a kind of word or an action or encouragement or just even slowing down to truly listen. The day after Thanksgiving could become the most meaningful day of the year, not for what we gain, but for simply what we give from who we are. Let's reset today as we refocus for tomorrow and for all that is in front of us. Less about gaining and more about giving. As we reset, we have an opportunity to refocus on what really matters most. See, generosity builds the relationships that actually matter most. And resetting is a good place to begin every single day. And see, what that really brings me back to is generosity is the essence of friendship. See, but isn't that actually true? The relationships that shape us are the ones marked by people who give freely of themselves, their time, their honesty, their belief in us. See, but here's the truth. We can often miss generosity also builds trust. And trust builds depth of relationship. When you live generously, you invite others into a deeper connection. And that is what we're striving for. We're striving for something real. We're striving for something more. And you and I, when we stop keeping score, we realize, we're actually being generous. You stop keeping score and you stop holding back. And you create a space for others to feel seen, valued, and in doing so, you create friendships that go way beyond surface level. And that's what we're looking for. I'm not looking for something anymore at that surface level. I want something that actually makes an impact, something that actually goes somewhere, and something that surface level doesn't ever actually go anywhere. And that's what we're all longing for, isn't it? Deeper relationships, richer connections, lives filled with meaning and joy. Generosity is how we get there. Let me tell you, that is where we're going. And if we can realize that generosity is the how behind maybe the what we're thinking, it's how we take Thanksgiving and turn it into a lifestyle. Thanksgiving can be a lifestyle because now I'm thinking a certain way, which affects how I live in a specific way. There's a lifestyle for us that is a lifestyle of generosity, and it's really on the edge of, are we going to let our gratitude compel us to put feet to those thoughts? All right, so here's the invitation. What if Thanksgiving was not toward the end of the year or a vacation that we were only looking forward to because it's Thanksgiving, and it was actually the start of something fresh? Not the finish line, but the start of something fresh. Letting gratitude actually awaken within us what we actually have to give, and letting generosity move me and move us to begin to give it away to the right people. The day after Thanksgiving is my chance and your chance to reset. Not to consume more, but to begin to live differently. Because when you live generously, you not only change the lives of the people around you, you change your own life. You step into a rhythm of abundance. And when you step into that rhythm of abundance, this is where life feels less rushed and more meaningful, and less about what you need and more about what you can give. There is a different way for us. So this is the invitation. And I just simply want to thank you for joining me today. This isn't a long episode. It's not meant to be. Why? Because you got a lot going on today. So whether you're driving, whether you're listening, whether you're just taking a break, I want to encourage you to think about the person that you're grateful for. Would you text them in this moment? Would you text them in this moment, maybe even send them this and say, hey, I was listening to this podcast episode, or I was watching this podcast episode, and I was thinking of you, and I want to thank you for your generosity to me in this meaningful relationship that we actually have. Today's the turning point, so let it be a turning point. Put feet to the action. Do something about your gratefulness, and not let it just be a good idea and a good thought that you have, but have that thought affect your life from the inside out. So remember this. I believe the best is always yet to come. And so would you allow it to actually come into your life today so that tomorrow, guess what? The best can come tomorrow for you. So thank you for joining us on the Full Vantage Podcast. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you're taking a great amount of time to realize how much you bring to this world around you, and you begin to think about the things that are meaningful to you and to the people that you love. So have a good day. Again, happy Thanksgiving. Share this with somebody. Appreciate you guys and all that you do for us in the Full Vantage Podcast. We'll see you soon.